All right, some fighting continues in Syria on the day of the deadline of the UN time to withdraw troops from Syria. Some of the Assad drawing the opposition troops there. We are going to go talk to Maria Habib. She's on the phone for us from Beirut. Maria, obviously today is the deadline for Syrian President Assad to pull troops out of fighting. How likely is that going to happen, that deadline backed by the UN will be met?
Well, the deadline's already been has expired, and there are still troops that are deploying throughout towns and cities across Syria. So I guess that answers your question there.
Okay, so it has expired. So it's Tuesday was the deadline. Here we are. What is likely to happen next?
Well, we don't really know. Turkey's prime minister made some pretty hawkish comments today about, this plan basically failing. And that the UN would have to throw out this plan and adopt a new one. But what the new one that he hopes will entail, will have in it, is anybody's guess right now. But Turkey, Saudi, and Qatar has been increasingly, louder about arming the rebels. So, this plan was really kind of seen as one of the last-ditch efforts to end this conflict peacefully. And it hasn't worked so far.
No, and I understand the fighting is actually spilling over the borders into Turkey, and even a member of the media in Lebanon had been killed. Tell us about how this is intensifying in the sense that it is now spilling over the borders of Syria.
Well, I guess it's cross-border fire is nothing new in Lebanon, and even Syrian troops have crossed the border into Lebanon before to violently uproot some rebels that were seeking refuge in Lebanon. Turkey, it hasn't happened as frequently. Yesterday, there was cross-border fire and some skirmishes on the border, and Syrians who were seeking refuge within refugee camps in Turkey were hit by this fire from Syrian troops. This has made Turkey very upset, and the Turkish Prime Minister has said today in a meeting with Chinese officials in Beijing that appropriate action would be taken, but he did not specify. But China and Russia are really the key to getting Syria to commit to any ceasefire.
And we're looking at a map that shows some of the influx of refugees out of Syria into areas like Turkey and into Lebanon. And Maria, has there been any response now from the UN as to the failure of their edict to lay down arms?
No, not yet. But the ceasefire was supposed to happen early this morning, Syria time. So the UN has really yet to convene, or maybe they're convening now. But no, we haven't seen any action. Kofi Annan, the former UN Secretary General, who's been appointed as the special envoy to deal with this crisis, his spokesperson said today that Mr. Annan will be sending a letter to President Bashar al-Assad of Syria about the ceasefire. So we have yet to really see what will happen.
All right, Maria, thank you so much for joining us this morning.